Today is our last set of notes for the trimester. We're going over 6.7 and we are talking about simple interest. So if you don't have it in front of you, go get a sheet of paper and a pencil so you can take notes and put this title at the top. So the formula for simple interest is I equals PRT. So the way that I remember it is I like to party. So I like to party, PRT. So it's simplified texting version of party, PRT. So I is the variable we use for simple interest, which is the title of our lesson, simple interest. So it's what we're trying to find. So simple interest equals our principal, which we'll talk about later what that means. So P means principal. R is our annual interest rate. We're talking about simple interest, we need an interest rate. And that has to be in decimal form, meaning I'm going to give you a percent, change it into a decimal. And then we're going to talk about our time in years. So all of this is going to be multiplied together. Since there's no sign, it has to be multiplication. So the simple interest equals principal times annual interest rate in decimal form times time in years. So it has to be in years. So if it's in months, if I say, oh, we're going to pay it off in 6 months or something like that, you would have to say that's half of a year. So let's talk about these words. So first two are simple interest and principal. Simple interest is the money paid or earned on the principal, which is how much the bank gives you. The principal is the amount of money that you borrow or the amount of money that's deposited. It's how much you put in. So that's the difference between the two. If it has to do with the bank, it's simple interest. If it has to do with you, it's principal. So let's look at this first example. Example 1, an account earns a simple interest. A, find the interest earned, and B, find the balance of the account. So let's try this out. So our formula is I like to PRT. So those are the variables we need. So I'm going to list them down the side. I, P, R, and T. And we're going to define those variables. We're going to say what it means. So we're looking at this, and the easiest one to identify is always going to be the percentage. The percentage goes with your rate. So we're going to put 3% in there. But remember, we need that 3% as a decimal. So 3% as a decimal is going to be 0.03. The second easiest one to identify is going to be time, T, because it's the amount of years. So it says 5 years here, so we're going to put 5. And it is in years, so we are good to leave it as a 5. Now we have to figure out, is that $750 our interest, or is it our principal? And so let's look at this. So the problem up here says A is find the interest earned. We need to find the interest, which means we don't have the interest. So interest is our variable. So we don't know what that is yet. And that leaves $750 for our principal. So that's the amount of money the person puts in, P, person. So let's go ahead and plug it in to our formula or substitute it into our formula up here. So like we said, we don't have what interest is, so let's leave that as I. Principal is 750. Our rate, so we're timesing that, rate is 0.03 multiplied by 5. So I'm going to enter that into my calculator over in front of me. So 750 times 0.03 times 5. And my calculator is telling me that that is $112.50. And so that's how much interest has been earned. which means we put in $750. The bank, because we're using the bank, gave us $112.50 because we just left it in there. So that's the answer for part A. Part B is asking us to find the balance of the account. And so what that's asking us to do is to take that 750 that we put in and then add the $112.50 that the bank put in, and that's going to give us how much money is actually in our bank account right now. So that is $862.50. And so those are going to be our two answers for A and for B. Let's try this second problem now. So an account earns a simple interest. Find the interest earned and find the balance of the account. This problem is set up the exact same way as for the first problem that we did. The only difference is this time we're dealing with months. So we need to convert those months to years. So I'm going to help you get started on the IPRT, on what the variables all are, and then I'm going to have you solve this on your own. So just like before, we're finding the interest earned. So we don't have this number yet. We have to figure that out. The percent goes with our rate. So that's 4.5%. As a decimal, that's 0.045. In this 42 months, it's easy to turn months into years. You just have to remember how to do it. So 42 months, if we divide that by 12, because there's 12 months in a year, it's going to give us the amount of years. So 42 divided by 12 is 3.5. And so that's going to be the number that we use, 3.5. And that leaves that 500 for our principal. So that's how much money that we put in. So now that you have what all the numbers mean, I want you to use our formula. I like to PRT and finish solving it. So you're going to get the answer for A and you're going to get the answer for part B, just like we did in example 1. So pause the video and try it out now. And these are the answers that you should have gotten. So the interest is $787.50. When you add that to 500, it's $5,787.50. And so that's A, and that is B. So for example 3, I am giving you the interest rate, I'm giving you the principal, and I'm giving you the years. So this time I'm asking you to find the annual interest rate. The rate is that percentage. So that's what we need to find. So I've already listed out your 3 variables that you know, and we need to figure out what R equals. So let's go ahead and look. So we know our formula is I like to PRT. So if we look up here, we know that I is equivalent to $562.50. Our principal is $1,500. And we don't know the rate, so we're going to leave that as an R. And our T is our time, which is 5. So when I give you a problem like this, you're going to follow your rules for 1 and 2 step equations. So the rules for 1 and 2 step equations, the first rule is to simplify. So if we look at the left side is good to go. It's already simplified. The right side, though, has things that we can put together. Hint, hint, that 1,500 and the 5. Everything is being multiplied. With multiplication, we can multiply in any order. So in my calculator, I'm going to type 1,500 times 5. And that gives me 7,500. So I multiplied these two, but I'm still left with my R over here. And then on the left side, I still have $562.50. Now it looks like a one-step equation. Since there's multiplication happening between these two numbers, we're going to have to do the opposite, which is division. So we're dividing by the number we want to get rid of. So we want to get rid of that, so we're going to divide by that. Whatever you do to one side, do it to the other. So divide by 7,500. So in my calculator, I am typing in 562.50 divided by 7,500. And I ended up with 0.075. So if I'm looking at this, kind of sort of makes sense because we're looking for a percentage. So that's our percentage as a decimal. We need to make it as a percent. To make it a percent, move it over 1, 2 times, and we're left with R equals 7.5% as our answer. Double check, and we got it correct. Same thing, different problem. So I want you to figure this out. Again, we've got our time as months, so we need to make those years. I'll help you do that, and then I'm going to have you solve the rest of the problem on your own. 18 divided by 12 is going to give you 1.5. So instead of saying 18 months, say 1.5 years. So go ahead and solve this problem just like we did before. Pause the video now. And this is your final answer. So go ahead and check it. You should have gotten 4%. So let's go on and move on to example 5. So example 5, it's going to be the same idea, except for this time we're looking for the amount of time. So we're going to go in. We've got these three numbers. We need to figure out how much time. And remember, time is always going to be in years. So we need to figure out how many years we have missing. So just like before, you're going to be substituting the numbers in, and you're going to be looking for what t is in this case. So I like to put our t is our equation. We're substituting 450 into I, and we're going to substitute 2,400 into p times our r as a decimal is going to be 0.075. So that's what we're going to put next. And then we're going to multiply it by t. We don't have t yet, so that stays our variable. Go ahead and simplify this and solve for t, and then check your answer with me after. Hopefully you have your answer now. You should have ended up with 2.5 years, and this is my explanation on why. This is the last problem we're going to do together, and then you'll have time to work on your homework. So example 6 is going to be a word problem. So Spencer took out a loan of $950 at a simple interest rate of 15% for 3 years. How much did the loan cost? So for this problem, we're going to start it off just like we did in the beginning with our variables on the left here. So I, P, R, T. So like I've said before, the easiest ones to identify are rate and time. So let's go ahead and do that first. Interest rate is 15%. So that's going to go right here. Remember, we have to make that into a decimal, so we're going to be using 0.15. Our time is the years. So we have 3 years. So our time is 3. Now we have to think, is this the interest rate or is it the principal? If Spencer was the one that got that money, it is going to be the principal because Spencer is getting the $950. P is for person or principal. I remember it because of the person. So if the person gets the money, like Spencer, got $950 from the loan, that means that it's going in for P. And we need to figure out how much the loan cost or what that interest rate was. So let's go ahead and substitute these numbers in. And this is the final answer for number 6. So just like we did, we list out the numbers, and then we're going to substitute it into our formula. So we have the numbers for P, R, and T, which makes our lives easier because then we don't have to do the one-step equation at the end. So we're just going to multiply those 3 numbers, and it gets $427.50. So the loan's going to cost them $427.50. So in total, Spencer had to pay back $1,337.50 because he had to pay back for the amount that he took for the loan, and he had to pay back the interest payment. So if you have any questions over this section, please send me an email and let me know. I'd be happy to answer them.